one of the biggest questions we get asked as real estate agents or brokers or anyone in the real estate market is, is it a bubble? Is it going to burst?
It's the same thing. It's making a deal. It's negotiation. It's the art of negotiation, isn't it?
I mean, it's the figure is something like an 86% population of expats here.
Gosh,
which is incredible. Right? In itself. And I think, just to have that vision of knowing that you are going to have to bring people in, those people are going to want to come.
Yeah.
You've
got to want to come, exactly.
They have to have benefits here for the first 2 weeks. Let me settle in, it was close to work and all the rest of it. But
Lovely.
that first couple of days, the sunshine.
Wow, what a difference.
It just makes you want to get up. It motivates you.
Yeah. I would love that idea. I'd welcome it any day from my side. Who wants to say to me, I want to go out to work? Yeah, great, fine. And you know what? When I was sat in at my desk once, and it was, one of the, legal hours tend to change because, you've got courts, delays and so on. But sometimes I'd sit behind my screen and I think, is this it?
Yeah.
Is this it? Surely it can't be, because I was brought up different. I was brought up to be independent in a sense of business.
Yeah, I think, look, Sheikh Mohammed has run the whole country, Dubai. All of the rulers have run it like a business, and that's why I think his book's called The CEO. Like
when you look at the cover of the book as well, you look at, somebody told me earlier on, look at where he's looking and look how he's looking. Nothing is getting in front of that man.
Hi Aicha.
Hey Naveed, how are you?
I'm good. Assalamu alaikum.
Alaikum salam. How are you?
I'm really good, thank you.
Yeah?
I'm really, really good.
Yeah.
Very, very busy, spreading wings all over Dubai at the moment.
Amazing.
So,
yeah. That's what it's about. So we've got you here today, and thank you for coming onto this podcast. Very pleased to have you on because you have had a journey in itself, and I'm intrigued to know about it. Yeah. I don't know anything about it. I've just brought you on. Like we said, we can have 20 dinners and still not know that person. So today I really want to know what you're about and what you're doing. Yeah. So should we start with what are you doing at the moment?
Right now I am working within real estate, but in not so the traditional sense. So we are working very much as a solution-based provider of real estate. So someone can come to us and they can buy a unit, they can sell a unit, they can lease a unit. We can always furnish that unit, and we can also holiday let it as well. So it's interesting. It really is. And it's a take that has evolved. And I think the world has evolved in regards to how people like to purchase. And it's through information rather than having a product.
You've just built the picture yourself through feedback. Is that what you're saying?
No, I think it's really important to evolve like that. And I think in Dubai being as big as it is as well, the real estate market's huge. You're talking about 50,000 real estate brokers.
Extremely competitive.
It's really, I think 3 projects every 2 weeks.
And it's growing.
It's growing so much.
Yeah.
So, there's an element of wanting to stand out and an element of trying to be completely different to people as well.
Absolutely, because you've got to deal with, when you do buy property in Dubai, you want to find someone that deals with the technicalities of it. Yeah. And there's always the issues that arise, that knowledge, you need knowledge. And the only way to resolve those issues is with knowledge. Yeah. The only person that's going to give you knowledge is someone like you. Yeah. That has the knowledge. And that's something that I believe is a gap in the market. You can get the information from bankers and so on, but there's the trust issue again. Yeah. So it's always, especially for expats, they have and understand there's a way of there's a process in the UK that people adapt to and are used to.
Yeah.
And that process won't be similar in other countries. They're going to have their own process.
Exactly.
And it's adapting to the new process that's difficult. And so that's what you're currently doing.
Yeah. I mean, just on that, I have found that a lot of people are coming to me through my social media network and asking loads of questions. I personally am on my second journey in Dubai now. So I moved home for personal reasons and then ended up coming back. So me being me, opened into real estate, came into real estate and, just set up on my own.
Amazing.
So it really is feet in the deep end, hand in the fire situation. And it's just about, I think I'm reaping the rewards of it now, because you have to learn the legalities. You have to learn, you have to learn the 360 of the business, whether that's on the mortgage side of it, the DED legal side of it, the processes. And there's so much to it.
Yeah. And it's quite scary at the beginning when you don't know.
Yeah.
I mean, I wouldn't still not have a clue when it comes to real estate, because it's something you need to sort of put your head down and read it over. Or we come to someone like you that gives us the knowledge on a plate.
Yeah.
You've already done your research. You've already had your experiences.
Yeah.
You know the technicalities, and it's so much easier to refer to someone. And sometimes talking about it, you'd fast absorb than not talking, than reading it and looking up on Google and so on.
100%.
But going back to your social media, just looking at the Expat Guru. Now, where did you get that name from?
I literally wanted to call it something that was going to relate to people, and especially the expat market. There's a huge influx of people coming into Dubai. I think it's 250,000 new residents every year, which is a huge number. And a lot of them come from Europe. A lot of them come from the UK. And I wanted to help, essentially. At first, it very much started off with promotional projects and things like that. And then I very, very quickly realized that people want information. They want to know about forming a company. They want to know about visa processes. The biggest one, the biggest question is, oh my God, the medical.
Yes, the medical.
Honestly.
It's people's faces.
Honestly.
Like, even my own family, I said, you're due for your medical. And they're, no.
It's, very in the UK, I think you get, like if you get the blue lights and the police are behind you, and whether you've done something wrong or you've never done anything
innocent,
wrong, you completely just panic, right? And I think that's the same scenario here with the medical.
That is so true.
Even now, when I have to do, every 2 years, by the way, guys, you have to do a renewal unless you've got a golden visa. A little bit of information
the golden
for you.
Visa.
I still panic, We
all do.
It's crazy.
We don't know. You just have this like absurd panic that you think, what have I touched? What have I done wrong?
I know.
Who have I befriended? Who have I shaken hands? You just start to think about all sorts. But it keeps the city, well, Dubai, I mean, the same rules apply for all of UAE, but it keeps the state organised, clean and healthy.
It does.
And this, I keep saying this to everyone, you cannot beat living here.
Yeah. I think, look, Sheikh Mohammed has run the whole country, Dubai, all of the rulers have run it like a business. And, that's why I think his book's called The CEO.
When you look at the cover of the book as well, I mean, somebody told me earlier on, look at where he's looking and look how he's looking. Nothing is getting in the front of that man.
Yeah.
Nothing is getting in the way of protecting his country, and nothing is getting in the way of it growing
Yeah.
And he's determined to protect his people
Yeah.
and take care of a large economy and take care of a variety of people as well.
Yeah.
He's not just looking after his own. He's taking care of all of us.
I mean, it's the figure is something like an 86% population of expats here.
Gosh.
Which is incredible, right? In itself. And I think, you know, just to have that vision of knowing that you are going to have to bring people in, those people are going to want to come.
Yeah.
You know,
you've got to want to come. Exactly.
They have to have benefits here and a good standard of life and a real reason to be here. Yeah. And I think what's quite interesting and what's really important is because, look, I came here in the back of 2011 initially, and coming all the way fast forwarding to 2024, the change in procedures, the change in even now, for example, you know, moving back into real estate a little bit, you know, you'd need an NOC from the developer to finally transfer. They've taken that process out. So it's constant
moving fast.
Movements of thinking, how can we improve this area?
Exactly. How can we improve? And that's something that I've, throughout my experience being here, I've noticed one thing.
Yeah.
Everything has teething problems.
Yeah.
Whatever you start has teething problems. You can't criticize people wanting to learn and start and not know what's yet to come until you've put it into practice.
Yeah.
Now, the good thing about here is when they've experienced those teething problems, they're quick to put change in and improve it. So quick. And you cannot criticize anyone for doing that. It's okay to have teething problems and experience them, but it's how you deal with it moving forward.
Definitely.
And this place, I mean, I'm lost for words on how he's developed the whole the whole business plan. I call it the business plan because, you know, how I see what he's done is, right, we have a land full of sand.
Yeah.
Okay. We have a land full of sand and we need to make the change. We've got our people, but my people, in order to make the change, I need to bring outside people in.
Yeah.
And I need to grow an economy.
Yeah.
I will look after you.
Yeah.
But I need to build this economy.
Yeah.
And I'll build the economy by bringing expats in, people from India, Philippines, whatever, to build, work, develop, and then the funds start coming in. We keep growing. I'm looking after my people.
Yeah.
And it's just improving every time. And I just can't, I'm so passionate about what he's done that you there's not one negative thing you could say about that.
It's just so forward thinking, and, you know, and hats off to all of the, you know, the GCC nationals, the UAE nationals as well. You know, there's a huge educational drive that a lot of people don't see
extremely
for the locals.
Yes.
And there's initiatives to make sure that they want to be in different sectors, and each actual industry sector here, you know, the vision is to be the best, you know, whether it's crypto, technology, real estate, or whatever it is. So it's so smart. And, you know, one of the biggest questions we get asked as real estate agents or brokers or anyone in the real estate market is, you know, is it a bubble? Is it going to burst? You know, what's going to happen? The reality is all of the projects are there for a reason. And I always say, you might have seen one of my reels, you know, follow the trail, follow the leader.
Yeah.
And the leaders really are the government backed real estate developers. So if you look at Nikhil, you look at Dubai Properties, and you look at Emaar, and find where they're going and what they're doing, that will give you a key indication of what the UAE or Dubai has as a whole, as a vision.
So true.
So, you know, they've got 2040 in mind, and they want to get the population, I think, up to something like 7.8 million people. So,
and they'll do it.
Of course they will.
They will do it. Yeah. Nothing is getting in his way.
Yeah, definitely.
I can see that. So going back to you.
Yeah.
You said you came here in 2011?
Yeah. I'd had, I was working in London, I was back. I mean, traditionally we live in our parents' house as Asians anyway, but I'd moved out, went to uni, did that thing, and then I was working in London, and it was January. I remember it like I'd got a job in London, St. Paul's, working as a junior broker, selling investments, which I just happened to be good at. You know, I really enjoyed it. Hard work. But that travel into London from Maidenhead, at the time, you know, there weren't that many fast trains. So it was taking an hour and a half. It was cold. And grey. And, you know, that brings, I'll come on to my first day here, which was just incredible. I literally just reached out to an recruitment consultant, and he said, okay, I've got 3 guys, potentially 3 companies that you can have interviews with. Alhamdulillah, I got offered jobs on all 3. So it was just about me choosing. I've gone home. I kind of said, I remember I was like, I was 32 at this time, by the way, so still need to get permission from the parents. Still happens in our community. So
totally understand that.
I've spoken to Mum and said, you know, what do you think about me moving to Dubai? And she's just, you know, she's always been supportive. And then she asked the time frame, and I said, well, I'm going in a week. Yeah, so it happened really, really quickly. I landed, the company was great. They put me up in a hotel for the first 2 weeks, let me settle in. It was close to work and all the rest of it. But that first couple of days, the sunshine.
Wow, what a difference.
It just makes you want to get up. It motivates you.
Yeah.
And just makes you want to move forward.
Yeah.
But you've got to want it as well. I think that's really, really key.
And you've got to take the risk.
Got to take the risk.
You cannot expect change if you're not taking the risk.
I always think about Dubai a little bit like how New York was referred to back in the day, you know, the land of opportunity, the land of hope.
Yeah.
And I think Dubai is that place now. You know,
it is.
If you want it, you can certainly get it.
Yeah, it's literally on the maximum speed on the treadmill. That's Dubai.
That's the
it's
thing.
Not stopping.
You know, I mean, I'm sure you've come across it. You know, especially when people haven't been here, they just presume you're going to come. Look, the reality is there aren't the great packages that people used to get in certain sectors.
Yeah.
You know, you do still get them, you know, with a little bit of schooling or whatever. But the packages back in the day were really, really good. But now you've got to really think about how much you want it, you know. And people think that in Dubai you're picking 1,000 dirham notes off the tree.
Oh, we wish,
you know. And and it's a really hard working place. People that
extremely hard working.
I mean, I've had meetings with you at like 10 p.m. here.
I know.
It's
the
non-stop.
Clock just doesn't stop.
It doesn't stop.
Yeah, but you're passionate about it.
Exactly.
You've got the energy to do it. You want to do it.
Yeah.
Because you know this is going somewhere.
Yeah.
Whatever you put your hand in.
Definitely.
And, do you know, I don't appreciate the negative, you know, talk from the UK about Dubai and the UAE as a whole. There are many that have this concept that Dubai has turned into next Benidorm.
Yeah.
That's total nonsense. I mean, and these people probably haven't been before. That's the thing.
I think it's a case of wanting to cater for everyone.
Yeah.
So, and most people will jump on that plane.
Yeah.
They'll end up in the 5 hotel.
Yeah.
You know, they'll end up in that pool brunch and they'll think that is the whole of Dubai.
And that's it.
And that is not it.
Yeah.
You know.
But that's like the concept of Ibiza. You know, when everyone used to say I'm going to Ibiza, you just think of phone parties, and we were talking about phone parties the other day. But, you know, it's got a really bad perception.
Yeah.
When Ibiza is a beautiful, you know, there's quiet locations, nice villas, peaceful walks.
I mean, I think I went to Ibiza 20 years on the bounce, by the way. So as a single person, as a married person, and with my daughter as well, and it is exactly what you say.
Yeah.
It's got everything that that you want.
But yeah, it's a shame, and we don't have time for the narrow-minded. We don't.
No, totally.
We based it on facts, and self-experience.
Do you know what? One of the subjects I do like to cover is cost of living here. There is that concept of Dubai's expensive, and trust me, it can be.
It can be.
You're looking at school fees at the moment, I believe.
I am.
Ouch.
And that in itself, it's a burden. But like I said, because of all the good sort of outweighs these fees. So you sort of put it in perspective that I'm going to do this because I'm going to get this, you know? So it's not going to stop me, but it is, I think schools now have started to become a business.
100%.
A self-made business.
I do wonder whether the whole homeschooling will fall into place here. A lot of parts of the world now. When I say homeschooling, I don't mean mums and dads teaching.
No, thank you.
I mean
I cannot do that. I really can't.
Have you got so?
I've tried.
I've got a nearly 9-year-old now, and her maths is getting complicated, and I don't remember it.
I don't know it. I don't remember anything I learned at school.
It's crazy.
Literally don't. And some of the stuff they come to you with, and you think this is science.
Yeah,
this is no longer maths. This is science. And what happened to those, simple calculators?
I know.
We don't have those anymore. And I just go back to my iPhone. It's the simplest calculator.
What,
and it's
ChatGPT?
ChatGPT. Best solution.
Yeah, definitely.
But cost of living is prime.
Yeah.
And it's one of the things that puts people sort of backwards in moving over here. But then I always think if it was made easy, then everybody would end up here.
I think in life, that's a really good statement, right? If it was easy, everybody was doing it.
What would be the point then?
My business partner at the moment went back a few weeks ago. She was in the supermarket and she was buying some grocery, and she messaged me and she said, "Wow, it's more expensive in the UK at the moment." So
it is.
I think the UK's had a tough time. The analysts always look at inflation from a yearly perspective. And in reality, since COVID, there's probably a 20-25% increase in inflation in the UK.
Petrol.
And petrol is just horrendous.
You think about it overall, it's far more expensive now to live there than it is here.
It is, yeah.
Okay, rents are going up.
Yeah.
But I've heard they might be coming back down. Is that right? Next year?
Look, this for anyone in the UK that wants to make sure that what the actual prices are. There's something called the Dubai Rest app, which you can log into.
Dubai Rest app.
Okay. There's a rental index on there which gives you the pricing. It's highly regulated and maintained to make sure that the landlords aren't taking advantage of you and that you're paying the right price. Essentially. It is expensive, but this is why a lot of the areas that are a little bit further out now are great value for money, especially for families. We're in a nomad world where people are working from home. I've literally just formed a company for someone recently. They are a couple, and they're going to be living a little bit further out because they both work from home. So there are solutions to it. I did a little episode called Eat Cheap Dubai, which I want to carry on doing.
What, on your on the
Instagram? Because in reality, the cheaper places are the more authentic places as well. And for me, what do I miss from home? And it's mum's cooking,
Yeah, bring her over.
So I went on a little exploration to find over, places to eat, and it wasn't price initiated initially, but then I found that the most authentic places, you can pick up a main meal for 10 dirhams, 12 dirhams. Oh, yeah.
I've seen it.
It's crazy.
So it's livable. Yeah. And you can't find that in the UK.
Definitely.
And I mean, when we talk about the cost of living and how the expense can sort of put people off. Well, if it's putting you off, you're not hungry for change.
Definitely.
And that's how I see it.
Yeah.
You either want it or you don't.
Yeah.
And no matter what cost it is, if you want the change and you want to develop and you want to grow, you'll do it, whatever.
Yeah.
You know, you'll pay the price because you know the comeback is far greater.
Yeah.
You know that. So I always think if you don't have that initial drive and you're fearing costs, you're not taking the risk.
Definitely, 100%. It actually brings me back onto the real estate sector, for example.
Yeah.
They get a lot of promises, these kids, you know, and so a friend of mine had an interview with a few real estate companies, and obviously not going to name them, but their model is to get people out here, not salaried, and see what sticks. You know, and so these guys come out here with 10,000 dirhams, get sucked into the lifestyle of going out to these clubs and stuff, and find it really, really difficult. So, yeah, you've got to be prepared, and you've got to put in the work.
You have to, and you have to be willing to make sacrifices.
Yeah,
you have to. You know, you can't expect to just keep whooping it up every night, and you know, expect to grow.
Yeah,
it's not going to happen. You have to be dedicated.
I think the best thing is about as having a family over here was great, and I think the best thing for us actually also was just the location.
Yeah,
travel. You know, and you know, it comes down to your company as well with trade and connecting people. This is the connection hub.
That's what it's about.
For trade, for travel, for everything. And I think that's really, really appealing for businesses as a whole.
Yeah, because I believe that for me, I feel like the pot's messy. It needs some organization.
Yeah.
You know, trade at the moment is slightly messy. Anyone dabs their fingers in. There's a trail of 10 people wanting a percentage, and it starts to become messy, confusing, and it's not professional.
Yeah.
You know, I want to provide something that is the best service for everyone. You know, you've got the sellers and you've got the buyers, and they both want the best of each other.
Yeah.
But having a chain of 10 people between that creates,
of course it does.
It's a Chinese whisper,
you
know.
And there's so much distrust here, isn't there? So I think it's fantastic what you're trying to do, really, and it's just mind-boggling, but it has been for years. But again, you know, you're looking at an ever-evolving Dubai. We go back to the first conversation that we just had there, and there's always changing, and it's always framework that you can put in to make it feel better.
Yeah, definitely, because you sit back and you can you sort of observe what's going on, and if you observe for long enough, you'll then see the gaps and the sort of the issues that people face and so on, like you have in real estate. And when I've seen that and observed it, I've always thought, surely this could change, surely this could be improved. And I don't think anyone's actually put their mind to it. Trade is great, you know, like we say, it's a massive part of life, but it needs some sort of organization. And what it does need, it needs, there needs to be a burden on both parties to create that honesty. The same way when you buy property, you have legal agreements, you have
the framework,
you're bound by certain agreements. So why can't we have that in trade rather than the whole WhatsApping, messaging, phone calls? There's no audit trail to start with.
Yeah.
And which can cause a problem later down the line. Yeah. You know, because, you know, it's a matter of he said, she said, and it's not professional.
Yeah.
So now is the time for me to sort of try and tidy that up and create with my sort of legal experience as well to try and put, let's get the,
I was just about to touch on
that
really. So you've gone from being a lawyer and into trade, but you're finding lots of crossovers.
Yeah. There's an overlap because it's the same thing. It's making a deal. It's negotiation. It's the art of negotiation, isn't it? Being in the legal field, you're constantly negotiating the best way forward. What's the best deal for us? What's the best deal for you? Yeah, you know, mediation, all of that. So it's sort of
what I found quite interesting about your whole concept is, and this is one of the first times I met you, and you said you wanted it to be fair.
Yes.
For everyone.
Yeah.
And, I believe people are drawn to people, and I think everyone wants the best for everybody, but we just live in a world where unfortunately people are just trying to take all they can, right?
Greed.
And it's greed, yeah. And it causes distrust in the market, etc.
Yeah.
I mean, how have you found that so far? Trying to be fair.
Yeah, I mean, sometimes people think you've got another agenda.
Yeah.
When you're trying to do the right thing.
Crazy.
They think, why is she helping me?
Yeah.
Why does she want better for me? And they question and think, what does she want out of this? But it boils down to, we've got our religious foundations. You know, there are morals, there are, we call it in Arabic, mu'amala, how we are with people. I cannot, if I was to do a bad trade deal with someone, I'm literally contradicting who I am as a person. What's the point in that?
Yeah.
I couldn't sleep at night knowing I've cheated someone.
Yeah.
And people tend to get the message wrong because I don't think people expect good from people anymore.
Yeah.
They expect them to be lying or wanting something more. And that needs to change, because when you really look at, the principles of your faith, it's just be good.
Should be good.
Be good to each other.
Any religion as well.
Any religion.
All of the books will say, be kind.
Yeah.
Love thy neighbor.
Exactly.
And all of these types of things is just really, really unfortunate. And Dubai is a love thy neighbor place, by the way. I think second to the sunshine, what people will find when they come here is everybody's willing to help you.
Yeah, very supportive.
It's great.
I found that. Everyone wants to help, but they stay out of your business.
Yeah.
They'll help you if you ask them, but they'll also stay out of your business. They won't. There's no overlap. There's no trying to be. I mean, we know there's a lot of sharks out there. There's a competition in real estate, in trade, and everything. But I'm on about a general scope of people. They want to help you, and even if it's you end up homeless here and you've got nothing, they'll put you on their sofa. So 100%. I definitely think it's a win-win.
Yeah,
all round. But ultimately, people are motivated by the place they're living in, and one is sunshine.
Yeah.
And when you feel like a government loves you as a person, you want to give back.
Of course you do.
You don't want to give back for a government that doesn't love you.
Yeah.
And that's something that it's all over the world at the moment. And you've got the UK, and all its politics and so on. But, that's not my business anymore. But if the government shows the love for the people will give it back. And that's exactly what he's created here.
It's interesting you say that, because I think from an outsider's point of view, they see that as fear. And it's very much, if you step out of line, you're going to go to prison for 20 years. I actually had one of my oldest friends, went to uni with him, known him, 25, 26 years now. He finally came over. I've been here like 13, 14 years.
26 years?
Yeah, long friendship, very, very long friendship. So he came over with his brother for his 40th the other day. And I don't lock my door. And, and if I'm in a coffee shop and I need to pop to the toilet, I'll leave all my stuff on the table.
Same.
It's very cliche with all the new reels and stuff, right?
I know, but it's the truth.
It's the truth.
Yeah, it is. Because they say, to reserve your table, put your phone on it, and then walk and get your coffee or whatever you need to get. And it's true. That's the thing. There's no, and this is what people outside of the UAE believe. They think we're making it up.
Yeah.
That it's too good to be true.
I think it was World Mental Health Day the other day as well, wasn't it?
Yeah.
So I think that's a huge anxiety to be safe.
Yeah.
You know, on a daily
It
basis.
is.
You know, I know people that don't like to wear their watches in central London now.
Not anymore.
They won't wear their nice bags or whatever.
Not anymore.
So this place really does take it away from you.
It does. And in particular, I mean, you've got a daughter as well.
She's
Mashallah.
gorgeous, mashallah.
And I've got a 13-year-old as well. And when he was in the UK, I could never put my focus 100% into my work in the day because I was always worried about the phone call from school. Did he turn up? When he leaves, will he get home safe? What could potentially happen? Yeah. There was that fear, constant fear, and more so in the last 6 months. Yeah. You know, then the riots happened, so much negativity. And I said to myself, I need to take him out. I need to take him out because it was just, unless I'm with him, it's different if I wasn't working. You know, I could sort of probably, you know, allocate the time of sitting outside the school in the morning, sitting outside the school in the evening, picking him up, dropping him, being with him 24/7.
It's absurd though, right? It's crazy.
It is crazy. But it's not reality. I couldn't do that. I either give up my work and do that, or I bring him over here, and I had to bring him over here.
My parents were market traders. I grew up on a market stall. You know, like it's going back to uni. They used to really laugh their heads off because we'd be out on a Saturday, and it would suddenly become 3 p.m. and I'd have to go to Blackbush Market, if anyone knows what that is.
This is funny that you're saying that because my dad was a market trader to begin with.
And they just didn't understand I had to go. But where I'm trying to go with that is so we were left to our own devices most of the week. You know, school finished. Grandma really brought us up. Me and my sister at the time, I've got 3 sisters now. And I remember the day I learned how to ride a bike. And that was me off.
Wow.
And that kind of freedom to go to the park, to kick a football has disappeared. And it is the saddest thing I feel for our kids.
Yeah, no longer have that. Yeah.
This is crazy.
This is interesting that your parents are market traders.
Yeah.
Do you know what? They're the best businessmen of all time.
I think that Dad was thrown into it because my dad started working when he was 14 years old.
Wow.
He lied about how old he was to go
great entrepreneur
to go help support his family. You know, it was and I think when I have these conversations with him, I can't comprehend.
Yeah.
A 14-year-old. Yeah. My daughter's 9. Your son's 13,
that would be my son.
14.
Yeah.
For at that age to go, I need to go to work. I need to help pay the bills.
Yeah. I would love that idea. I'd welcome it any day from my son. Who wants to say to me, I want to go out to work? Yeah, great, fine. But I know. I understand that. It's you must be proud.
I am so proud. To be honest, I'm getting emotional just thinking about him and what he did for us and the sacrifices they made.
Sacrifices.
And it was crazy.
Yeah.
It has made me who I am today because of the market.
You're hardworking.
And it's made me a little bit focused into doing something for myself. I just think once I started a journey working for people, and then very, very quickly here in Dubai, my journey turned into management, to becoming the MD of an investment firm within 4 years of being here, which is crazy,
incredible.
crazy
That
quick. And then a couple of years later, I opened my own firm. But I think once you have that in your family, market traders, you know, buy, sell,
hustling.
It's very hard to then, you know,
you can't
go into the corporate world.
You can, oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And I've tried it. And you know what? When I was sat in at my desk once, and it was, you know, legal hours tend to change because, you know, you've got courts over delays and so on. But sometimes I'd sit behind my screen and I think, is this it?
Yeah.
Is this it? Surely it can't be, because I was brought up different. I was brought up to be independent in a sense of business.
Yeah.
You know, grow. But I don't know why I had switched off the business mindset, because I was brought up by two parents that were self-employed, you know, and they were self-employed. But my mother at the same time was working in the background, you know, cleaning bed and breakfasts and so on, just to have a stable income.
Crazy.
You know, and why was I sat behind this screen? Yes, I'm doing something I was passionate about. The legal profession has, you know, got me to where I am, but it wasn't the end. And I could feel it every single day I was behind that screen. I was like, this isn't me.
Yeah.
Really isn't me. And then I go back to what my parents taught me. And especially my dad, he came to the UK at the age of, I think it was 16, 17.
Yeah, similar story.
To study, to study. And then he thought, you know, I'm going to bring my wife over, brings her over, and then says, well, I've got to put the studying to one side because I now want to make a family.
There you go. And it's those sacrifices, really, isn't it? It's realization that they didn't, you know, and so my dad's only 21 years older than me. Wow. You know, so, you know, mum was 19 when she got married, 20 when she got pregnant. Dad was a year older. And I had this conversation with mum the other day, and I was like, Mum, I've played golf with people that are my friends that are your age, you know. And she said, oh, we're friends now. I said, we've always been friends, you know.
They have a lot of charisma.
Yeah.
And it just, I wish that generation is something else, you know. Some are stuck in their ways, and, you know, you cannot.
Oh, of course.
Make any room for change. And still to this day, I fear my mother. Yeah. You know, so there is, you know, there's no.
Well, one of the reasons I moved home was Dad had a stroke and Mum had a heart attack. Like literally, it was like January, February.
But both at the same time?
Yeah. So it was. I literally just went, pack your bags, go. You know. So we went back. And, you know, we settled down, and it was just, you know what, being like, I don't know what your household's like, but I love it. We go home. My sisters all live close by. In the evenings, everyone's over.
Yeah.
You know, my sister-in-law's making food. House is just full of my nephews and nieces, and it's great.
Lovely.
Yeah.
Yeah. You're a family guy.
Yeah. I love it.
That's what makes you humble.
Yeah.
And, you know, I've noticed that about you when I first ever met you, I think, because you already know certain members of my family.
Crazy.
And I first met you on one Eid.
Yeah.
Wasn't it?
Yeah.
And
Nyla then was over from the UK, right?
Yes, she was. I mean, she's grown fast.
She's growing so sassy.
Yeah. That's a girl for you. Let's hope she takes on her father's entrepreneurial skills and grows and develops. Inshallah,
when she was younger, actually, she said to me, because we were very fortunate, and her mum was able to be a mum. You know, in this day and age, it doesn't happen that often, right? You know, you get mums have to work and dads have to work. So I remember asking her. You know, just joking with her, I'm always winding her up. I said, Nyla, you know, you're getting big now. One of her birthdays, you're going to have to go get a job. She said, Daddy, don't be stupid. Girls don't work. Oh dear.
Oh God.
Bless her. They just learn so fast now.
Yeah, they do. Look, you know, she's probably heard that somewhere. You know, she's heard it to be able to tell you that.
Yeah.
But you know. The thing is, you can never take seriously. You can never take what the child says at the time seriously.
Yeah.
Because they change every single month.
Yeah.
You know, I've got one son that says to me, I'm going to be a famous footballer. And I'm like, go for it. You can do it. The impossible is always possible.
Yeah.
And then I said, what's your plan B? And he said, I'm going to work for you. So I was really impressed. I think
by that.
I think
the generational change, that's the biggest one for Asian African communities and families, is that now we are supportive, whereas you know, I did fashion design straight out after my A-levels, for example, and
that's crazy.
My mum just wanted to kill me.
This is me. I did fashion design. I did my own fashion show. enjoying it so much.
Yeah, it's passionate. I'm still passionate about it now. I'd love to create my own little label still.
You will.
And we've, I don't know if you do this, but no matter how busy you are, there's always that passion project in your mind.
And you'll do it.
And, you know, so there's always thoughts.
So what are we going to have? The Naveed tank top or something?
The tank top. Do you know what?
Or shirt. We could have like some professional suits, you know, the Naveed suits, and watch your space. You never know. But I definitely think you'll do it because you're a good guy and you will definitely really achieve those goals.
I think good people look, they're good. I don't mean this in a business sense. I mean this truly from a humanitarian perspective. People gravitate towards each other.
Yes.
You know?
That is so true.
Yeah.
That is so true.
Because the world can be a lonely place, you know, and people have ups and downs in life. And I think it's hard. And I think especially men these days just shut up, you know, and they don't talk to anyone. And this time round, obviously coming to Dubai, I've got you guys as a network as well, which has been absolutely fantastic.
And it's unfair. It's unfair. I mean, we talk about women and women empowerment and women in business and the growth for women, but we can't deny the fact that there is a lot of suffering in men as well. You know, because men, it's sort of a closed door for men to show their feelings. And if they're having a down day, you know, they have to wipe the tears before they walk through the door at home. Yeah. It's tough for the man as well, because I really believe that if they show a sign of weakness, they're weak forever.
Yeah.
And it's a shame because there's loads of, you know, we're talking about mental health day, but there's loads of men with mental health issues. And those mental health issues, I mean, there's a different grade for every type of mental health issue, but it can be just the pressure is on. Yeah. And he can't afford to pay those bills tomorrow. And his wife has no idea about it. Yeah. And he has to go in and smile and support.
Smile. Correct.
I can't imagine.
I always, whether this is a good or bad statement, but it's how I feel. I sometimes look at people that have simple lives and go, Subhanallah, you know,
Subhanallah.
You know, like, although they have their problems and I'm sure they do, always a smile on the face, you know, and
so
it's
true.
great. And men do have lots of pressures, and they really do. But
because there's been a lot of suicide as well in the UK.
I mean, I seem to be. I think as you get older, not only am I dealing with people passing away because of their age. Yeah, I think I've had 4 or 5 guys that have killed themselves in the last 3 or 4 years, and some of them we knew that were in pain of some sort or the other, but then there's the surprising ones where no one had any idea, you know.
That could have been prevented just from talking. Just
definitely.
From talking. Talking is one of the best cures.
I think COVID had a massive influence
absolutely.
on it.
But do you see how Dubai and the rest of the UAE dealt with COVID?
Yeah.
It's like, they picked it up really quick after.
It's interesting, actually. It's a subject that I'd actually like to talk more about, because at the time, I was a little bit of a rogue. I didn't really listen to anyone in the UK, by the way. I found it fantastic. I was living up north in Formby, and my mum and family live in Maidenhead. So normally 3, maybe 4 hour drive in traffic. I was doing it in 2.5. Yeah. So I found it absolutely fantastic.
Amazing.
But at the time I remember thinking, I'm glad I'm not in Dubai.
Because of financial pressure or?
A few of my friends were saying permit. So I've heard 2 different stories here. So, you know, some people were saying, you know, I think people that were stuck in apartments with no windows predominantly had a hard time. Yeah. And it, believe it or not, drove a huge amount of people and demand for townhouses and villas straight after.
Wow.
So, you know, people were like, I'm not going to get stuck in an apartment if it ever happens again as well. Yeah. But on the positive side of things, you know, I've had people say it was dealt with.
Yeah, that's I'm only going by experiences of my own family that have been here. And it was dealt with a lot quicker than it was in the UK.
Yeah.
I mean, that was daunting. That was...
Well, as you know, I was in the care home business, right?
Yes.
So,
Yeah.
you know, we had 5 care homes in and around Wales and England, and we had a real hard time. You know,
that must have been tough.
Yeah, look, I had to literally pitch in. Had to go in and do the tests for this. So in the care homes in the UK, I don't know if anyone knows this, but and during COVID, so for the staff to go into the care home, they had to do a test, wait for the test result, and then have that logged onto the NHS system before they could start work.
Yeah.
In an industry where we are already up against it, you know, carers are getting paid £10 an hour, and probably one of the most difficult jobs in the world to be doing is dealing with people with, you know, Alzheimer's and dementia and things like that.
Oh, wow.
It was a tough time.
Yeah.
It was a real tough time.
I can imagine.
But
yeah, but you did it.
I mean, what doesn't kill you makes you stronger, right?
Exactly. You did it. I mean, this is fascinating.
Yeah.
There's so many sectors of your life that are completely different.
Yeah.
Totally different.
Yeah.
But you've amalgamated all of those experiences into one whole experience.
Yeah.
And that is to keep going.
To keep going. I think before it was really about making money, if I'm honest. It was about wanting things. And most people are like that.
We all
at the
like
start,
nice things.
You know? And it was about going to the fanciest places on holiday and doing it a lot.
We want to try it. Everyone. You tell me one person that doesn't.
And although I still like nice things, and you know, there's places in the world, of course, I still want to go. I find that in business, it's more of a solution. I like helping people. I really, really love to help people. And if
it's the best reward,
it's the best reward. And it's something as simple as, you know, a guy contacted me on Instagram about getting a visa here and then some advice on property. And he's coming over and you know, he's really, really honest and said, look, I just don't know anything. Please help.
Yeah. And you did.
And I did.
And you had no agenda.
Yeah.
You genuinely wanted to help him. And this is what people fail to understand is I'm passionate about helping people.
But that in itself brings the ancillary of money, of success and all the rest of it.
You've got to be happy and confident in what you do.
Yeah.
The money comes later.
Yeah.
And don't let the money be your ultimate goal. Yeah. Because what is the point? You're going to achieve, let's say you're going to achieve your first million.
Yeah.
And you've reached the top. You're now staying in a luxury hotel. You get your fresh towels, fresh sheets. But who are you with? When you have your dinner, when you go to the lobby, when you go out for a spa, who are you with that is now on your level?
I think there's two ways of looking at that, right? So you can look at it when you are at the top, and you know, we did pretty well pretty quickly over a few years, and everyone's happy. Everyone's happy. Yeah, you know, everyone's with you. Everyone's happy. Yeah, it's when things are failing. So the 5 care homes went under in the end, and we're still going through liquidation at the moment. But you know, your friends suddenly disappear very, very quickly.
Yes. Yeah. Oh, absolutely. But then you say everyone's happy at the top because you were doing it together.
Exactly.
You weren't being selfish and doing it alone. I'm on about when you are greedy, when you push people out, you push the right people out. Yeah. You're at the top and you're eating a bolognese on your own. Yeah. You know, you're eating the caviar on your own.
No fun in that.
Where's the fun in that?
Yeah.
What will you do with those millions?
Exactly.
You know, you can't even share it. You can't even spend it on people because you're far too greedy.
I think as I got older, obviously I was born a Muslim, but I was, because of my very, very strict, by the way, home life, you know, it was very, very, very strict. I used to have to sneak out of the bathroom window to go out. I did my first event at 14 and a half, 15 years old. It was called, I can't remember what it's called, but we did it at a community centre, set it up, filled the place, got dragged out of it by the family. Like they were that strict.
I can so relate to this.
It was really, really hard. So, but so it was a situation where I've always wanted to not really be who we were. So although so now religion has become a real big part of me, but it's also become. I realize how important it is to be focused, structured, nice, like anything, all of it kind of, subhanAllah, just all kind of falls into place. And, just the simple task of praying breaks up your day on a really low level. Like,
it's a blessing.
It's just really good. I feel really, really fortunate to have faith. And
absolutely.
And whatever faith that is for anyone. And I really just believe. And, just be conscious of your actions. Definitely.
Because, when you're constantly conscious of what you're doing, you won't make those bad decisions.
Yeah.
And you will base those decisions on, would God be happy with what I'm doing?
Yeah.
And if it's a clear no.
Oh, the guilt these days.
Then don't do it. Don't do it. Especially if you're harming others.
Yeah.
Or harming yourself. Because we shouldn't harm ourselves either. We should be pragmatic when we're making a decision for both sides.
I didn't realize what this meant. And people used to say it to me quite often through the years, and that's be nice to yourself. And I didn't get it.
We were told to be nice to ourselves.
I didn't get it.
No, I didn't get it. And I've only just started to learn that in the last year. And until I started to learn that, because before I wasn't implementing that for myself. I was too busy helping others.
Punishing yourself.
And I would put myself in a position of difficulty. And it was hard.
It's what our parents did, though.
Well, this is what they did. But it's no crime to look after yourself. It's not a crime to do what makes you happy too.
I always use the analogy of when you're on an aeroplane and you're getting that safety instruction, right? And they say the oxygen drops, and they say put it on yourself
before you help others.
Yeah, and that's because if you aren't able to be sufficient in yourself, then how are you going to help other people properly? So
and I've experienced that in a bad way.
Yeah,
because you're so exhausted, you've put yourself in a minus.
Yeah,
that you have no energy left, and then you sort of become a different person.
Yeah,
because
with being a mum, I think it's like,
the pressure's on. Because you've constantly got mum guilt.
Yeah,
being a female, being a mum, being a daughter, being an oldest daughter, a responsible daughter, you are guilty 24/7.
Yeah, constantly
guilty, and it's like a knot in your stomach that is constantly turning away, and it's never released. And the only way it's released if you make it, if you release it. You have to put in your head that, no, it's okay to put me first. It's okay if I want to buy that for myself. But it's hard to train your mind to do that.
Handbags or shoes?
Handbags, of course. Both. Not being greedy. But, just the guilt in shopping, the guilt in so many things. Because you think, I've got to pay for this, got to pay for that.
Yeah.
But you end up in a cycle where you've neglected yourself so much that you're no good to anyone.
Yeah.
So help others.
I think in business as well, I think it's the fool that thinks they can do it all on their own. It takes lots of hands and lots of ideas and lots of people that have an open mind to listen and benefit from other people.
Listen to others.
Everyone's got their own experience and their own experience in different sectors, right? Yeah. So it's all about just keeping open to that.
And surround yourself by good people.
Yeah.
Positive people, happy people. And if they are unhappy or they're not positive, find out why. Yeah. Try and bring them in, boost them up.
I did a little social experiment where I didn't tell no one. I've never told anyone this actually.
Okay.
I did a social experiment where I am always the person that will reach out. Like in my friend circle, I have always been the guy that will reach out, I'll touch base, but I just stopped doing it for a bit.
Okay. And what happened?
Very, very small amount of people were reaching out.
Really?
Yeah.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
It's crazy that you've done that, because I attempted that last year, and it was a very quiet place.
Yeah.
Very quiet place, because I reached a point of I had enough.
Yeah.
I had enough of neglecting myself so much.
Yeah.
And you're right. But it's a really good experiment.
Yeah.
Because at some point you needed to stop.
Yeah.
You needed to put it into perspective.
Yeah. Look, it doesn't cost anything to be nice, right?
No.
And if you really, really, truly, I get some people are just bad communicators. So, there is always going to be a grey area with that one. Yeah. I know my mates that are just not very good.
You accept them for who they are.
Accept them for who you are. But, just making sure someone is okay and just touching base should be the basics.
There's being nice
of love.
And there's being kind.
Yeah.
Being nice should be the basics of all basics.
Definitely.
You should just be nice to everyone. Being kind, you're in level 2. You know, it's up to you if you want to do that.
Yeah.
We're not telling you to.
Yeah.
But be nice and be kind.
Definitely.
If you want to. Because one thing for sure, and this is a life guarantee, what you put in is what you get out.
What you get out.
And if you're kind, you only get kindness back.
That has just absolutely thrown me, that statement. So, very short story here. I was in South Africa doing a tour. We were promoting an investment product. So we were, I got on a flight, and Caroline Flatley was on my flight. So I was sat next to her like that, face to face almost. And she was smiley. She was her, which is great person, great personality. And she'd obviously been filming Love Island.
Oh,
right? You know the one I'm talking
about? Yeah.
So, and then she committed suicide weeks after.
Was it weeks after?
Yeah, but Be Kind came from her, right? So do you remember the whole Be Kind movement? And I mean, what I'm trying to get at is turning to mental health.
We're going down another route here.
What I mean is, it's from the outside, someone can look fine, but just
this breaks me to pieces when you talk about stories like that, because this is where we really need to talk more. There is no shame whatsoever, and if you feel that there's shame, then you're not surrounded by the right people.
Definitely,
you need to leave that.
I mean,
group.
she was at top of her game as well, right?
She was doing well, so beautiful, hardworking, creative.
I was getting sweaty palms around her, to be honest with you. I was like, wow,
I'm sure she's stunning.
Yeah, she is stunning. Yeah.
So sad.
It's
so sad. And may none of us end up in those situations.
Yeah.
God forbid.
I think it's just about, as you said, surround yourself by nice people, good people, and talk to everyone.
Life's simple. Right? Life is simple.
Yeah.
If you make it simple. Stop creating drama.
Yeah.
Because drama only brings you drama.
But everyone loves drama at the same time.
I love watching it. I don't want to create it.
It just becomes... I thought this would kind of fade away as we got older, right? Like, the whole drama thing, but it seems to be just getting worse.
No, I've noticed, and I'm thinking, how old are you and you're still creating drama?
Yeah.
Come on. But then some want to learn and live. Some want to live and not learn. So
I think it then becomes a balance of, because if you want to take yourself out of drama, you're talking about taking yourself out of sometimes...
comfort zone. It's a comfort zone for some.
And going to the events and doing this, that, the other. But then, it's a difficult one. I'm going to ask you 2 questions. Cool. What is a time in your life here in Dubai where you said to yourself, I can't do this anymore. I'm going back? It's this time round.
Really?
Yeah. So it's very different this time round, right? So the first time I came single, hungry, open.
No pressures.
No pressures. This time round, I've left my daughter at home.
That's a killer.
And like those first few months were horrible. If anyone knows me, they'll know how doting I am of my daughter, you know. And,
I can see that from,
and she's my absolute everything. So it's really, really hard.
But she can probably see that, because you're here better in your life. Yeah, she's great. She can't stop talking to her friends at school that Daddy's working in Dubai. Yeah, she must be proud.
Yeah, she's really proud. It's just more of a personal thing where I found it really, really difficult. But you put the effort in and get to a place where you can travel back more.
Exactly.
And then it's just life strange, isn't it? Because a reaction comes from you doing something, and now the time we spend together is unbelievable,
amazing,
like unbelievable. And it made me think a little bit about, you can get very comfortable, can't you, as a mum and a dad, and just not really not that you would never appreciate your kids, but that time spent can be a little bit.
I can feel your energy.
Yeah. So
right now that you are an amazing dad.
Thank
you. And looking at your social media, you always bring your daughter into it, no matter what.
Yeah.
If you want me and accept me, you have to accept my daughter as well.
Yeah.
I can see that, and you've done remarkably well. Honestly, Naveed, I can't emphasize anymore how you've continued to grow with the pressure of being away from your loved one.
Yeah.
And you want to keep growing.
Yeah.
You don't want to give up. And you're creating something that's special for her.
Yeah.
Your goal, when we talk about goals being money, goals being ambition, your goal is to firstly create a happy place for your daughter.
Yeah.
And then everything else follows.
I think as a parent, as you are as well, and you're a parent, Aisha, to kids that you haven't brought into this world as well. Yeah. That is your drive.
Yeah.
When you're single, it's to become something.
Yeah.
You don't really know where you're going.
You don't have a choice.
You don't have a choice. And when you've got kids, it's
you cannot have a lazy day.
Yeah.
I remember thinking to myself, like every time I think, oh God, everything is negative today. I'm only getting negative feedback. And you get to a point where I'm going to slow down. Do I just pack my bags and go and start working again, my usual practice job? But then no.
Yeah.
I'm still happier than what I was.
Yeah.
So why would I do that? Yes, the one killer is every time I envisage my son's face, I get really emotional. And then you sort of the weakness comes in.
Yeah.
And then you have to sort of switch off quickly. No, not thinking about it. He's good. He's happy. I'm doing this to make this a better place for them.
Yeah.
And then you're on a roll again.
Well, our parents did it from, although we were born in the UK, but they went to a different country to provide for their family. They migrated, right? So you're only kind of doing. Again, we're so much like our parents without knowing it, really, aren't we?
We are doing the same, and no one can criticize you for that.
Yeah,
you're not here like partying every night, throwing money away. Looking for
so easy in this place. By the way,
it is
that side of things is like the easiest thing to do.
It's like an empty barrel.
Totally, it's an empty space.
Yeah, what's the point?
Yeah.
What's your inner value? You know, you've brought out the best of yourself. I'm more than sure here.
Yeah.
Going by what you tell me, you've really brought out.
I think, again, going back to religion, we believe that we're here for a test.
Yeah.
And my first business experience in Dubai was very quick, very easy. Everything about it was
There's a reason for that.
was a hot knife in taking bath.
Yes.
It was just went all the way through it. Now this time round, it's a lot more of a test emotionally, being away from Nyla, you know, like yourself, you know, you support people, other people outside of your family. So there's different pressures on as well. So there's that give up mentality can come from also from the religious side of it as well, because now I'm practicing, you know, and my prayers are important to me.
Do you think Dubai influenced that, you connecting with
one of the reasons why I came here in the first place, to be honest, is that East meets West. You know, okay, I am British. I'm a British Pakistani. That's how I describe myself, right? British first and Pakistani second, although I'm very, very traditional and I love my roots.
Good for you.
So then when I came here, it was like there's a mosque everywhere. There's azan to remind you to pray. Amazing. And it was and although I wasn't really in in religion as I am now, it was more a thought of, look, it will help you on your path.
Guidance,
you know? So yeah, that's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
That really is.
Blessed. Definitely blessed. We're both blessed.
We are blessed. Everybody's blessed.
Yeah, everybody's blessed in so many different ways.
Thankful. I actually did a post this morning about it, and that's just to be thankful of where you are, what you have.
And when you do appreciate and you're thankful for every day, I mean, you wake up in the morning and your arms are working, your fingertips are working, you can see, you can smell, you can hear.
Yeah.
That's the beginning of a new day with a new blessing.
Definitely.
Because at night, anything could be taken away from you.
Yeah.
And you're blessed every single day with that. And you have to appreciate that.
You do.
That's the ground that you're going to work on, because without that, we can't do anything.
You can't do anything.
You know, I admire those that can't hear. I admire those that can't see or smell.
Yeah.
Because they've adapted to life without that.
Without that.
When I see if that was taken away from me, how in the hell would I do it?
It's the motivation you get from people that are less fortunate in some way. It is just a crazy type of motivation. But, you know, you can also feel like, you know, as you just said there, like, how would I cope?
Yeah,
wow.
I wouldn't.
You know, take my leg off. Would I be able to still do my salah or do the simple things in life? But
I mean, God creates miracles, but the point is, if somebody did take that away from you, where would you start?
Yeah.
You wouldn't have a clue. So that's why every day we are blessed with the limbs, the vision, the
100%,
etc. You know, so that if we just bring it down to basics and remember what we have, everything else becomes easier, and you can only grow from that. Yeah, because you're thankful and you appreciate what you have in your day. You do, and you stay humble. And there's nothing that can intimidate you. Yeah. There's no wealth in life that can intimidate me. There's no fame in life that can intimidate me. I don't care who you are. I will still be myself. Yeah. That's a great place to be, especially in a place like this where there is no top. Yeah. Yeah, there is no top. There really isn't. You know, how high do you want to go? Yeah. You know, in regards to wealth, sky's the limit. Like, you know, and a lot. I think it's a reason why a lot of people come here with that are either really successful or, you know, from a fame perspective or a financial perspective, because here they can feel normal. Yeah. Well, look at the sheikhs. Yeah. You know, look at the royal family. Walk around the mall, go for a coffee. Humble people who love people and who are kind. Yeah. You know, they genuinely are. He looks after the sick. Yeah. You know, have you noticed there's one thing here that you don't notice many illnesses around? Like in the UK, you're in a shopping mall and every 1 in 5 is in a wheelchair. Yeah. You don't see that a lot here because they're taken care of. They've got, they're created, you know, easy access for shopping. And, you know, they're on those little moving taxis and you don't see any difficulty. Yeah. Everyone is catered for here. Really not thought about that. Yeah, and you don't. The moment I land in the UK, all I see is walking sticks and wheelchairs. Yeah. And I just think, what's happening here? Is everyone on a bunch of pills, because that's the easy solution there. Whereas here, it's resolve the problem.
Yeah.
Try and find a solution. Don't need the pills.
Yeah.
Of course, we all need some sort of pills. I'm not saying.
Don't get me started on that.
But there is
That's
solution.
subject.
Let's not, find quick solutions, because that's not the answer. You need to. It's like always deal with the root of the problem, and that's what they do here.
Definitely.
They deal with the root of the problem. Well, let's bring this to an end, because we could be talking.
I know,
all day long.
And when we first met, this happened. This happened again, right? Like, I think when you really do connect with someone, and you just like, I mean, from a real just plain perspective, you can talk forever, right? And there's no awkwardness, and you don't feel I think
not at all.
with someone that you don't connect with, it's so forceful, isn't it? But
I don't want that. I don't have time for that. I just want to be me, and I can feel that you are you.
Well, thank you very much for inviting me on.
I really appreciate it. It's been fantastic. And I'm sure we have many more podcasts to come, because I've really, really enjoyed talking to you today.
Thanks, Aicha.
So thank you so much, Naveed. And you'll find Naveed on Expat Guru.
DXB, yeah.
DXB.
Expat Guru, DXB.
And you also have your personal page, which I know. But anything you want to know about experiences in Dubai, difficulties, technicalities, reach out to this guy, because he is fascinating and will always find time to help.
Of course I will. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Naveed.
Okay, bye-bye.